Welcome to the Rebuild Procurement Podcast, the number one procurement podcast in the world, where we dive deep into topics to keep procurement people up to date and ahead of your peers. Subscribe on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, wherever you're getting your favorite pods. Let's do it. Make it kind of like the end of year. What should I be doing to help mankind? Subscribe. Just give it a shot there. Give it a click. On today's episode, Alan, we have our guest and friend back. If I would have only listened to this gentleman, I'm not sure, was it like rewind 13 months ago, Paul? It would have been, I would have made more
13,
money
14.
than the S&P just by going into gold. But we have Paul Odell Scott. So we did an episode last year where we predicted 2025. Today we're going to revisit that and see where we were right and where we were wrong. I'm Tom Finn, bringing 15 years on the client side, procurement, finance, and category management experience in large and small cap orgs.
And I'm Alan Veek, a procurement geek on the sell side of our street, and I've assembled a team of superhuman procurement professionals doing managed services at a little company that we like to call the Summit.
Let's get into it.
All right.
All
Welcome back,
All
Paul.
right, gentlemen.
Thank you. Good to be back. Always fun.
Mhm. Maybe,
Yeah.
Tom, let me kick off the discussion by saying I was completely wrong about the biggest procurement winner in last year's predictions. Because do you want to know who the biggest procurement winner was?
Who was it, or who it will continue to be for 15 more days?
Me. It's me. And it's Summit Procurement.
All the way.
We got Paul Odell Scott to join our team.
There you go.
All
If
right.
you
I
would
love
only
it. I love
predicted,
it.
If you would only
We
predicted the
won.
Lord Matter for this episode, right?
That's right. It's
Yeah.
good.
Agree, though, Paul. I appreciate having you
Thank you.
back. I think it's fun to revisit
Hey,
some of these things and kind of check ourselves.
I feel like I'm the winner. I'm the one climbing those mountains over at Summit, so I love it.
Oh, gosh.
Green and
all right.
gold.
Good to be mountaineering
Enough
with you,
of,
Paul.
googly eyes over one another, gentlemen.
Into
All
your
right.
Just
love.
pat each
Into
other,
your love.
pat ourselves on the back.
Yeah,
here.
where's my compliments? Jeez. I don't want to hear this other stuff. All right, so today we're going to go back through, like we were saying, back through what we predicted. So last year we had 10, I think it was 10, right, Alan?
It was 10. Yep.
10 different questions, or predictions, or what does the future look like for 10 areas. And today we're going to go back through those. So how do you want to go? Do you want to go bottom to top, Alan, or do you want to go top to bottom?
Let's go top to bottom. And
Okay.
then how about we start off by saying, all right, so of the 10, we're going to use the MythBusters rating system of we've got confirmed if your prediction was correct. We've got on the other end of the spectrum busted if your prediction was terribly wrong. And if it's somewhere in between, because it's like, data is mixed, the story is complex, you can actually say it's plausible that you may have been right, that you may have been confirmed. But Tom, do you have a sense for what your batting average is across the 10?
I feel like it's quite high, actually. I feel like I did all right, but it just
Okay.
kind of depends on what which of the which of the checks you go with, right? But I feel like I
that's
did decent, but I realize I probably played it a little safe too.
Yeah, I've got an actual batting average. I am going to put my batting average down as 600. So I got 6 of the
600.
10.
Wow.
6
Hall
of
of
the
Fame
10,
level.
arguably right. Now,
Okay.
some of those were Stranger Things. Did it come out? Yes, Stranger Things came out.
I know,
And,
exactly.
have I
Was
watched
there
it? I haven't watched
released. Yeah, it came
it.
through.
That's right. Was there? Exactly. So, but so mine's 600. Paul, you have a sense for where you're batting?
I would say I was probably closer to the 350, 400 mark.
Okay. Dig it.
Yeah.
So, Tom, you can take a swag at it? Or should I
I was going to say
keep my
700.
baseball score at home?
I'm always an
700,
optimist, especially when I'm reviewing myself.
I love it. That's good.
so-
That's good.
But yeah, I think I'm not sure if I took as long ball shots as I maybe would like to have in the that we'll do in our coming episodes.
Yeah, I feel like I
that's
was
right.
swinging for the fences, so I was taking some big
Yeah, maybe I'll
hacks.
shoot for 350 next year.
Everybody, we should all be swinging for the fences. We should all lay it all on the line.
Exactly.
I agree.
Exactly.
Everything's
Game
contrarian.
Ninth inning, Game 7 of the World Series.
Exactly.
You're down to
Bases
run.
are
You got to
loaded.
swing for the fences, baby.
Exactly.
All right, well, let's review and see. Maybe we can give ourselves the rating, kind of add these up at the end. But the first one, Alan, if we're going top to bottom, first one was biggest procurement winner within 2025. Again, these predictions we did in December of last year. So who did you think, Alan Veek, the procurement geek, that would be the best procurement winner of 2025?
It's a perfect procurement geek answer. I said U.S. chip manufacturers. And indeed, we saw about $500 billion flowing into that industry and momentum happening across the board. Of course, everybody knows Nvidia, but there's tons of other chip makers that are onshoring, and there was just tons of money flowing in. And I think this is going to be a trend that continues. So yes, for me, confirmed.
Confirmed. All right. And then Paul, what did you have as the biggest procurement winner of 2025?
I had down that a major fast food company would be switching over to seed-free oil in all of their cooking. And within honestly weeks of the podcast coming out, Steak and Shake announced that they were removing everything. There was a little bit of a hiccup with how they went about it, but they've corrected it since then.
They do. It was something worse.
Yeah, they had said that they had removed. They had removed.
Yeah.
They had removed seed oils. And
tapped
then
it in the local refinery.
Yeah, it was like straight up like crude oil. No, I'm just kidding. It was
just jokes.
Essentially, what happened was they were still using like seed oils in the manufacturing, but then at the end point they were using beef tallow. Since then, they've corrected that because people, tested it and they're like, "That's not right. This isn't actually seed oil free." And so they've since corrected their mistake, and I think it was a good lesson learned for all the other companies out there looking to do the same.
So, Paul, what you're saying is I need to try them yet again.
Exactly.
Because maybe I didn't have the pure version of it. Yeah,
exactly.
I went out and tried as soon as they came out because I'm a big fan of the beef.
Did you really?
tallow.
I have never been.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you guys, have you guys ever gone to one? I've never.
I think
gone.
I texted you guys. I took a picture. I was like, I'm doing it. Here it is.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I tried it and I was a little disappointed. They were kind of flaccid. They didn't quite have that taste I was looking for. And Steak and Shake usually has pretty reliable fries,
really good
stringy
fries.
sorts of things. So I got to give them another try here end of year.
I do too. I haven't tried since then. So it's been about a year.
Yeah, but you need the comparison. You need the old one versus new one if you're going strictly taste versus the health options. On my side, I had Rest of Asia as a procurement winner, and I feel like this kind of rolled through. So the idea was that there's a lot of pressure on China at the end of 2024. Going into 2025, it's just going to spread out, not necessarily come home. So I had Vietnam attracted $33.7 billion US in the first 11 months of 2025. So essentially Vietnam, which is kind of things have moved from China to Vietnam, as well as some within India. India's FDI rose 18%, about 19 billion. So yeah, I mean, I think a lot of has gone rest of Asia. I think we've kind of seen that outside of just the news cycles. So
yep,
yeah,
I've enjoyed looking at the tags in my clothes.
I do too. Yeah, if you ever get
where are they coming from? Yeah, exactly. They come from all over the place.
Yeah. But trinkets are still 100, like trinkets, if you go to like a kid's birthday party, still 100% made in China.
China.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So number 2 we had here was the, was it big? No, this is my
biggest
own
procurement
answer.
loser.
Yes.
Biggest
the loser.
Procurement loser.
Who's the biggest procurement loser? Shall we start with Paul on this go around?
Yep. Why not? So I had the biggest procurement loser was going to be SaaS companies, specifically around companies starting to reduce the amount of SaaS that they have, be a little bit more, stringent on the SaaS spend. I would give this one a plausible. I wouldn't say it's confirmed or busted.
I like it.
Total SaaS spend was up for the year, but then again, a lot of spend just continues to rise. But I think more and more companies actually were adopting things like AI agents. And actually, Gartner had come out and said that companies on average cut spend by about 18% per employee. So that's kind of one of the numbers. Give it a plausible just because overall SaaS still performed well, but it wasn't. I think companies were a little bit more diligent on that actual SaaS spend that they have versus just throwing the money at the wind to the SaaS companies.
Right on.
Yeah.
Good job. Good job, Paul. It's the death might be a little exaggerated, but they're definitely in the hospital. There's an illness.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Good.
In the
Yeah.
future, it's going to be what is SaaS, I think is going to be the question.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it feels as if that's going to be something that will continue to replace human workforce at a certain level until that workforce adapts and turns into something else.
Yeah. I
Like
almost
human
feel like
labor
there's going
turns
to be
into something else.
categories under like general software, not
Yeah.
even SaaS.
Yeah. Because it's been
Yep.
crazy to watch a lot of like just the ability to summarize things so well is analyst roles. So then what does an analyst
100%.
turn into in the future?
Right on.
Cool.
I'm going to give myself a confirmed for the biggest procurement loser. I said onshore procurement talent, and basically it was saying we're going to have some tough headwinds for people in the procurement industry in North America trying to find new spots. So Summit procurement notwithstanding, we're hiring, but there aren't many that are. And my inbox has been full, and my calendar full of meetings with network colleagues and friends who are out pounding the pavement looking for a job. And we've certainly heard from other BPO firms that a lot of their North America work is moving off to India.
Interesting.
Yeah, 100%. I think you nailed that one, Alan.
No, thank
Yeah.
you.
I mean, that's been something that's been happening for a while, though. It's interesting that's
It is.
even further ticking up. But there's going to be a lot of, I would assume, Alan, there's probably a lot of capacity also within India because a lot of the analyst roles, that's what, call it 10 years ago, folks have moved out, right? And so it's kind of, it'll be interesting to watch further into 26. All right. So the biggest procurement loser I had was American manufacturing. I think this one's between confirmed and plausible because I think it just depends what you look at. So U.S. manufacturing in September 25, it was still up 1.5% year over year, which was the strongest gain since 2022, right? So that's still something to be said there.
Yep.
And obviously it's still a big part of the overall GDP of the U.S. But the tariff packages, not something that necessarily helped American manufacturing, which is where my mind was when I said this. And there was just because of all the inputs that come in. So I say it was hurt by the tariffs, but obviously no one thinks it's going away completely anytime soon. But continue to limp. But yeah, I don't think it didn't necessarily take off. I think the way that it was being sold, I think that's confirmed.
That's for sure.
Yeah. All right.
I mean,
Moving on
it
to
takes some
number
time to
3.
ramp that up.
Oh, what is that?
Yeah.
Said it takes some time to ramp up the manufacturing once you start to try to move it over. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, the CapEx alone, these data centers are, going to take forever still to build, right?
Yeah,
And the
100%.
nuclear power plants, things of that nature, forever. But
Forever.
it was roughly 2% of the 4% GDP growth was attributed to AI, which is essentially just data centers. so call it construction, US CapEx. We'll see where it goes in the future. Number 3 here, we had biggest business winner of 2025. I will take this one first. I had said, because I think I can confirmed on this one. I had big tech. So big tech being the biggest business winner. I'm not even sure at this point what percentage of the S&P big tech is, but the Mag 7 or whatever it is now, that is essentially most of our economy and definitely most of the economic growth. Obviously, AI was a big, like the Nvidia, like you were saying, Alan. Like those guys are GDPs of many countries combined at this point.
Yep.
Trillions. We have multiple $1 trillion companies. I remember when the first one hit, it was like, wow, look at $1 trillion. Now they're like $4 trillion. Like, I'm sure that's totally sensible. However, with these hyperscalers, they're just continuing to drive. And I think we saw with the most recent Gemini model, things are getting even more consolidated, right? ChatGPT, OpenAI took a hit from the optics standpoint, from the financials, people looking at those, whereas things are consolidating around Google once again, it seems. So that was my biggest winner, was tech.
Yeah, and when I was sitting thinking about this one, Tom, I was amazed. I think the number is five solid AI competitors. When you think about diversification in an industry, that's impressive. All sitting here onshore North America, all building competing models. That's a pretty healthy economy, a pretty healthy ecosystem. So yeah, I think you nailed that one.
100%.
Good. Mine was the nuclear power industry. So in addition to reopening 3 Mile Island, which now has the crafty new name, Crane Clean Energy Center. Sounds like
Oh,
someplace
yeah?
to play hockey
didn't
or
know
football
that.
or something, doesn't it? Yeah. So
It sounds like a nonprofit or
It
something.
really does.
something. Yes, it sounds so nice. So that's 3 Mile Island. I was reading in another article that Westinghouse had 47 new reactors being built. Not in the
No
U.S.
way.
though. I looked at it, I was like, yes, I nailed it. And then it was like, okay, well, they're being built in South Korea. They're being built in China. So they are being built. So that is technically the nuclear power industry. So I think I get a solid confirmed.
Yeah, and I think just to that one, Alan, like the push though has been incredible. Everyone is
Yeah.
trying, especially with these mini reactors. Haven't worked in manufacturing, like a lot of this R energy prices going, or I guess not R, but with energy prices going up. It's I'd worked in manufacturing for a while, and a lot of it is done behind. I forget what they call it. Just when essentially they generate their own energy, like behind the meter is what it's called.
Right. Yep.
And these things in the
Yep.
future with the smaller nuclear reactors, I mean, it's kind of is the future. If
Hope
a
so.
data center isn't making its own steam and like cogen, then like kind of nuclear or like a hydrogen plant's the only other way to really do it. So yeah, it's definitely bound to come.
Yeah, I think
What you got, Paul?
I think you confirmed that one, and I think it's going to continue moving that way. I had the biggest business winner as MicroStrategy, and I put this one as plausible because it kind of depends on
Paul, let's
how
be
you
honest
view
with
it.
ourselves. I think you just went down to 300, Paul.
Oh no!
This is where the 300 comes in because it
you
all
were
depends on
350
how
before though.
it depends on what ruler you're using to measure. And so if you're measuring in terms of stock price, it's busted. It was 100% bust. Stock price is down year over year. But if you're measuring in terms of a true, Planck's constant type of measurement for a business, then their Bitcoin holdings
going all
held
science on
and
us.
they went up. So in that case, their actual, truly measurable value actually did increase, despite the dollar value going down.
Yeah,
So
that's where your brain's bigger than mine, Paul. Mine just looks at their overall price, yeah, and like, yeah. But
so
I'll trust whichever.
we're kind of
metric
living
you're-
in like an upside down. It's kind of
Isn't that where they
leading up
are?
to
Aren't they below the price of Bitcoin right now?
So they're not. They're multiple value. They're their assets, net asset value. The NAV is about 1, so it's about equal to their Bitcoin holdings, and they've been issuing shares. But yeah, it's a difficult one to actually say it's confirmed or busted. So I'm putting it as plausible because it's neither here nor there, depending on how you want to value it.
I'll be willing to give this one to Paul if he can actually tell me the value of Planck's constant.
I think it's like 0.00000000000000066 joules or something. It's like
really good.
Hundreds of zeros and then 0.6.
That's solid, Paul. That is
joules.
That's solid knowledge. Being the chemist, we remember 6.626 times 10 to the minus 34 joule seconds.
Oh, very nice. Yeah, I just say the zeros. I'm not as like chemist as you are.
Oh, that's awesome.
All right. So for on the next one right now, guys.
Yep.
That was our biggest winner.
Biggest.
Yep.
Now
biggest
we're
business loser.
Yes.
Good. I'll go ahead and fire mine out. I said synthetic food beyond meat, and indeed
could have shorted those guys, huh?
all those lab meats. Yeah, they've gone no place. Yeah, stocks are in the toilet. So I get a solid confirmed.
100%. Yeah.
Brown Friday.
What'd you have? Yeah, exactly. What'd you have, Paul?
I had consumer staples, which are just kind of like everyday purchase items. I'd say this is a confirmed busted. It is definitely busted. Consumer staples performed well. I was expecting a little bit more of a rocky start. I know we did have the whole tariffs and everything, but that actually didn't really affect consumer staple prices. It didn't really affect prices when you actually look at it. So that's kind of where I landed on a busted.
Okay. Mine was, confirmed, but I think mine was just a heavy lean with this whole entire thing leaning into AI. So his employees not using AI was what I was saying. I think that's kind of confirmed. I think anybody that starts using it, you can kind of tell the difference. It may have ruined some folks' form of communication and a little too many M dashes. And I think some people may have gotten called out on those knowing it was AI. But overall, I think it's just been a net benefit to the average worker that takes it on, just given the continued advancements.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now this is let's move on to Alan's favorite one, contrarian belief.
Love it.
What about the contrarian belief? I'm gonna let you lead this one, Alan.
Okay, I'll lead this.
Belief?
I will lead this one, but I need audience participation because my contrarian belief is that DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, will have a small impact. And Gemini came back and rated me as busted.
Oh, no way, really?
I'm feeling chuffed. I'm feeling like, dude, that DOGE did not do what we asked them to do.
I agree.
They didn't really provide me too many data points, but everything I've been reading in every source is just throwing cold water on the fact that it was a kind of a flash in the pan. So I don't know. What do you, Tom? You giving it to me? Is that confirmed?
I think I would give it to you because I think I thought there was. I mean, the word upside's relative, but per what they were promoting, I thought it would have done more, right? So you kind of you set a big objective. You at least want to get halfway there, right, to your goal. Yep. It felt like they went percentage points up. So I think there was some things done, like there was, but overall, I mean, to the extent that our debt continues to grow relative to GDP, that feels like it was confirmed, Alan.
Yeah, 100%. I think it wasn't the UPOD, the under promise, over deliver. I think it was over promise, under deliver 100% on that one. So was expecting a lot more, just cutting across the board.
I think my batting average just went up to 700. So I'm challenging you, Tom. I might be the cleanup hitter. I don't know. I just might have put you into the lower spot.
Let's see.
You're batting fifth.
We'll see who has better books, Alan. Because we get a little fluffy eventually.
That's right.
It's real fluffy. Yeah.
All right. So Paul, what'd you have? Contrarian belief.
So I had down that there would be a Federal Reserve emergency rate cut. So specifically, that's out of the cycle of their scheduled meetings of a cut. And this was 100% busted. There was no emergency rate cut. I know, personally, I think we should have been having more rate cuts ahead of this. And I think that actually has been a detriment to the economy and the velocity of money within the U.S. and globally. So busted 100% on that one.
Yeah, but do you think that though, Paul? Like, of course, you go to zero, you go to negative, people are going to start throwing money everywhere. That's what happened during ZIRP. But like the zero interest rate era, and that some view is also having done harm overall, not to folks that are in the stock market, right? 'Cause then you get to
the asset values. Yeah. It widens the gap. Anyone who owns assets, the rich get richer, the poor get poorer, no matter what. But I think that when the velocity of money slows down, the people who are holding assets still are doing fine. It's the poor and underprivileged people who are being hurt the most because they're the ones who lose their jobs first. They're the ones who actually feel the price impact on, money, on gas prices, et cetera, who are just trying to live paycheck to paycheck. They get hurt the most. And I think that's a worst case scenario is when there's money not flowing, they're the ones who get impacted the first. They're the ones who actually have true harm done to them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. So for my contrarian belief, I had essentially increased globalization. I think this one's mostly right. I think it was, again, like I had kind of two themes to mine. Mine was that the overall, like things weren't necessarily coming back home from a manufacturing standpoint. In this case, they a little more offshore or nearshore. And then the other was the AI stuff. So for this one, had it as a mostly win or whatever, mostly confirmed, I'd say.
Plausible.
Yep. Yeah. What was
plausible.
that?
Yeah.
It's definitely plausible.
I put it at
plausible, guys. It's tough to rate. But things are going essentially away from China and goes to that most of Asia side of things. Fine. I'll take plausible. I'll take half point for that one.
That's all right.
Grok had you as fully busted, think the way.
Huh?
When I put it into Grok, you were fully busted.
Fully busted. All right. Well, we just obviously now I think less of Grok now. Paul. Yeah, that probably is fair. All right. So the next one, after contrarian belief, most anticipated trend of 2025 as rated in 2024. What'd you have, Paul?
I had down my most anticipated trend, which I mean, it's hard to tell if it's confirmed or busted, but was that more companies would be adopting Bitcoin as a treasury asset, and that was confirmed for sure.
Mhm.
There's 145 public companies now who own Bitcoin on their treasury.
146. Oh no, you
100.
said
Oh
public
yeah,
companies.
well that's a private company. um, so exactly, 145 public companies, one private company at least, and so definitely excited just to see that continuing to grow. But I would say it's confirmed, but it's also it was what I was most anticipating.
I like it. I like it. I had economic growth driven by deregulation. And while Gemini was trying to be nice and they graded me plausible, I'm calling that busted. I think there was not the rate of deregulation that any of us expected to see, and certainly economic growth, while it was there, most people would say it's pretty tepid. So I'm not gonna take a win there. I'm gonna take that as a bust.
All right. And then mine was AI agents. They become the partner in crime or they move along. I feel like, guys, now I feel like I got to check here. We're probably a little bit better checks than our AI counterparts. But I have that as a clear win. I think AI agents, I don't know if you guys have seen the videos of the customer service, things of that nature. But they've really, things have moved beyond just the simple chatbot to, the deep research came, I think, generally within 2025, got much better. They've kind of become these like side bots for support. And I think there's probably more room to grow there with these things, but definitely it's done something within 2025.
I'd give you a confirmed on that one. They've
Confirmed.
definitely
Yeah.
grown. You see them a lot more
I'll,
now.
yeah, I'll give you a grudging confirmed because I still think, the proof of the pudding is in the tasting. It doesn't taste very good. Like
No.
deep research. I do like it, and I lean on it a bunch. But it gives me 30 pages of blather that it's not much better than me just doing a Google search. There's some detail in there, but you got to really, really mine for it. And I can't tell you the number of times I go through the standard big company call center, front line, and it's
Yeah.
just that it's not smart. It doesn't know things. It can't do things. So I really think that we're going to find that we're headed into another AI winter because a lot of these promises haven't paid off. But I'll grudgingly give it to you, Tommy.
Yeah. No, I think that's fair. I think the grudgingly is good. It's not where I thought it would progress to. I've heard things
Yeah.
like the whole AGI that's been pushed out, right? The term AGI, but I think it constantly moves, right? The Turing test is something that all three of us 3-4 years ago would have been like, yeah, this thing's like nowhere clear to it. Like obviously this
Yeah.
AI, look at all these M dashes, blah, blah, blah. Look at the hands on the pictures, all this stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
That stuff's all
exactly.
gotten much more decent. So I think it'll continue, but I agree. You always kind of, in a way, be able to tell something's off
Yep.
Yeah.
for a
Yeah.
while. For a while.
The
Um,
uncanny valley.
what was that? Yeah, exactly.
I think. Mhm.
All right. So that is our trends, and now we went on to a little more fluffy. Here's where Alan got all of his points back.
Yes.
With,
Well, we
which
all got
maybe
all our
next year
points.
maybe next year we combine them into media. But
Mm.
we had the first was most anticipated book. I'll start with this one. I had actually read one of these. I didn't read the other. But my first was The 5 Types of Wealth by Sahil Bloom. I followed him on Twitter for a long time, and he ended up writing a book. It's actually a pretty good one. It was a lot of more about like just like how to view what you're doing kind of in life.
Mhm.
He has some good analogies and things of that nature, and it was quite successful. Tiny Experiments by Anne. I'm not even going to try Anne Laure Lay Kumpf. She. I did not read this book, but having seen it on my list, I might go back and try and pick it up.
Yeah, that's good. 5 Types of Wealth. Was it good? You enjoyed it? What
Yeah,
are
it's
the 5
cool. It was a good
types?
book. I listened
Awesome.
to that one, the audiobook. He reads it. I always
Oh,
like
good.
when the authors read. I actually prefer
Yeah, I do too.
listen to
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
You can kind of hear how they feel when they write stuff too.
That's
So yeah,
good.
that was a good one.
Paul, what you got?
I had my most anticipated book was Who is Government by Michael Lewis. As being
Oh.
a big Michael Lewis fan, I have to say it was a snooze fest. I did not like it.
Snooze fest.
Oh my
Oh, how
gosh,
unfortunate.
I couldn't get through it. It was
Too
it was
bad.
not the book for me. I think I only got 25 to 30% through.
Wow.
I didn't even try to finish it. So
That's how books are, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
So I would say that's a busted for me because I was really excited for it and totally not my type of book, at least.
Well, since you're you're a very diligent grader on this next one, I said my most anticipated book was the unredacted JFK assassination files.
Yeah.
And while it did indeed come out, and Gemini gave me a confirmed, I didn't read it and I didn't hear much about it.
Did it come out? I
Yeah.
didn't think it came out.
I said, no, you're thinking of the Epstein files.
Okay,
They didn't come out for a
The
long
JFK,
time.
yeah.
But JFK came out in March, actually, early on. But I didn't hear a whole bunch of great controversies and now we know. No, so I think maybe I might need to bust that.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of the thing. Sometimes the fun part is planning the vacation, not going on the vacation, right?
Yeah.
So it
yeah.
probably is also how conspiracies are. It's like, oh shucks, it's what we were told
That
all along.
wasn't true. Yeah,
Right?
Exactly.
Like other than this
They
little
don't actually
itty
know
bitty
what
piece, like
happened.
yeah, someone whatever did something the day before that was noted here that no one knew. Like,
Yes.
all right. Other than that, the vacation's fine, but the planning is the fun and the anticipation is the fun part.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's a podcast. There's one of my favorite podcasts called Acquired.fm. I've talked to Alan about it a bunch before.
Okay.
But they did an interview with Michael Lewis. I didn't have a chance to
nice.
listen to it, but those guys are great interviewers.
Yeah, and he's great to listen to, kind of just speak off the cuff as well. So I'll have to take you up on that one.
Yep.
Listen to it.
All right. So then the next one that we have here is most anticipated, call it podcast or call it audio for 2025.
Yep.
Who wants to go first?
I give myself a very solid confirmed on this one because I said I love listening to the Alt 18 countdown, which just came out this week. So the top 36. Yeah, top 36 for 2025 just came out, and Pitchfork released theirs back in November for 100 top songs, and it's just fun listening, good listening. So that was an easy one. I'll give myself a confirmed on that. Music, it's such a diverse sphere of artists and groups. You're always going to have somebody who's just killing it. So a lot of fun in those lists.
Yeah. For mine here, I'll go next. I had it's just how boring of a person I am. Audio announcements regarding tariffs versus Alan being an audiophile, listening to with whatever speaker system he has at home. I'm there sitting with AirPods in, listening to tariffs. But I mean, it was I'd say I don't even know what I think about it, but it was definitely an exciting year when it came to a lot of the announcements relative to other policies, and they may all be taken back when it comes down to the Supreme Court. So we shall see what happens there. Just if these were even legal or not. But I think it is an ongoing something where this is constant news cycle. Got a little annoying at some point. I don't remember when they did the announcement where they had was it Trump or one of the other guys in the administration had the had the chart of and it was kind of showing the numbers of the difference, but it was really just, I don't know, whatever it was. I don't even recall at this point, but
yeah, I remember that whole chart.
Busted. I don't know.
Yeah, Liberation Day.
Liberation Day. Yeah,
yeah, exactly. April 1st, or I think they made it April 2nd, so it wasn't an April Fool. But yeah, I mean, you definitely nailed it. I mean, everybody and their brother were talking about tariffs. So April was a big one. So you kind of nailed that one.
Yeah, that is very true. I'd never heard my parents speak about tariffs before.
Yeah, everyone became a tariff expert overnight. Instantly.
If it was right or wrong. Yeah,
exactly. So I had the most anticipated podcast was any podcast that was deep diving into the JFK files, and that's clearly busted too because it, like you said, Alan, no one really went over the details. Yeah, I can't win on the books or the audio, so it's a tough one.
It's a tough one. It's like Tom said, once they're released, the conspiracy kind of fizzles out.
It's never fun anymore.
They held the Epstein over here. They were like, we're going to give you this one.
We still have that. Yeah, exactly.
We're not going to give you this one. So everybody was like, let's go over there.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Exactly. That's funny.
Crazy.
All right. So then now we're going to the visual side of things. Most anticipated video/movie of 2025. What did you guys have?
Go ahead, Paul. First. So I had a compilation of all of the SpaceX Starship landings, all the catches. I haven't actually seen a full compilation of them, but I've watched so many of them. They've had so many successful, the chopsticks, catching all the
Was that
rocket
this year? That
boosters.
feels like it was years ago at this point. That's
Oh, yeah.
unbelievable. The
Yeah,
chopsticks is so cool.
yeah, and they've been doing more and more of those, and just all the different tests, and it's even just really fun when they have unplanned rapid disassemblies, over the ocean. So I definitely would confirm that one. Looking forward to seeing if someone makes that just general compilation of the year of SpaceX launches and failures and
Yeah.
It's got to be out. It's got to be
awesomeness.
out there.
Is-
And
yeah,
what are we up to now? We're up to Starship 11.
yeah, I think it's
Is
11.
that right?
Yeah,
And I think
Yep.
it's coming in January. So
Yep.
so stay tuned.
yeah. Got to go watch one of those launches. So
Oh my gosh. Yeah. We,
Yeah.
we,
They
we talked
definitely
about
have,
that
like-
last year. Maybe we get to do it this year. We make it let's find some customer, some client we can sell down in
we can figure it out.
near
Yeah,
Texas. Yeah. And
exactly.
we'll make a side trip. That'll be fun.
Perfect.
I had the release of Stranger Things, which I've been holding myself back. It did come out in November, and the final chapter, the final episode is set to release on Christmas Day. So I've been holding back. I want to watch it in one fell swoop, but I've heard from friends it's good.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I think we stopped watching that after like season 2.
Yeah.
What are they on 5 now?
Yeah, it's 5.
I gave you a whole year, Tom, to catch up. Come on.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know. And yeah, I just didn't.
I started season 5 and it is good.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm over there watching like the Diddy the P Diddy documentary that 50 Cent
You're
did.
watching
There's-
you're watching tariff updates.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Did you guys see the releases on Netflix of the tariff updates? YouTube. So for mine, it was Happy Gilmore 2, which I think delivered.
Yes,
So it was like it
definitely.
was just as dumb as the first one, and kind of still like held the same like idea, and it kind of like moved it along. I think quite nicely in a silly way, which is kind of everything I
Mhm.
wanted out of it. So I was happy.
And it
with
was touching. It was touching.
as the first
It
one
was.
was.
Exactly.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
No, I thought it was fantastic. As a huge Happy Gilmore fan, and I was in my middle school and high school golf teams, and we would always do some Happy Gilmore shots at the driving
bring out
range
hockey
just for
stick.
fun until we would get yelled at. Definitely hit the spot. I liked how they kind of just brought back a lot of people, and even just
Exactly.
went back to the first one to remind you like who that was, because there was one guy who I was just like, I don't remember you at all, and then they showed it the scene from the first one. I was like, oh yeah,
It was
very
throughout,
small
yeah.
scene, but I remember it.
And they had Shooter and all that kind of stuff.
Oh
He was the
yeah,
central plot.
Shooter
central
was
point.
awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
Great
Did you watch
movie.
it, Alan?
I did. Well,
Oh, okay.
I watched it out of the corner of one eye. My kids were watching it, and I was doing some other things, but
Nice.
I caught the gist.
Cleaning, cooking dinner. All right. The last one we have here to wrap up 2025, financial metric prediction that we had. Alan, did this one bring you up to 700?
No,
Okay.
I got busted on this right alongside Paul. I said Bitcoin will reach $250,000 in nominal value next to the US dollar. And that was my biggest miss. I was off by 50%. We saw just north of 125,000, like 100, almost 126,000
Yeah.
in October. But we've now since kind of regained our volatility, we'll call it. And we've dropped down to the 85 to 90K range. So I still think there's great upside. I still think Bitcoin goes up, and we will see it go up, but we'll have to hold off on the 250 for another day.
Where were you at, Paul?
So I did the price of Bitcoin, but I priced it in gold. And I said Bitcoin would be worth 176 ounces of gold. And in my metrics, I had that as $4,350 for gold, which it is at right now. So I got that, which is 66% up. But the actual Bitcoin value would have been $767,000. And so that was decidedly
dreams.
busted.
Does that then change the belief or structure from the
No,
Bitcoin maximalists?
not for me. Not me personally. I mean, I'm surprised that gold hit my number and Bitcoin didn't, just because that's a 66% gain in gold in a year. And Bitcoin is essentially pretty much flat. So in my mind, we still have much more to go. That's a huge divergence from my models. So to me, anything below that is a good price. So I'm happy. You can stack more sats. So
Stack, baby.
Yeah. And for mine, I had labor productivity at 4%. Overshot this one. So non-farm sector labor productivity rose at an annualized rate of 3.3 in Q2. So it didn't have Q3 numbers. So not 4%. And then year-over-year gains, which is a little bit different, but was the 1 to 2% range. So it was directionally correct. Didn't get there, but I think the idea that it's improved near 4%. Missed, but still pretty close.
Mm-hmm. You're too optimistic, Tom.
As always, Alan. As always, I gotta do that more of that under promise over deliver stuff.
We were all very optimistic on that one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we all got that wrong. The financial metric.
It's gonna be fun to see what we come up with in our next episode.
Exactly.
For sure. Yeah.
So everybody, be on the lookout. We should be dropping that episode the first week of January. So mark your calendars, write it down, be sure to tune in. We're going to be coming back with the second year of predictions, this time for 2026. Looking forward to seeing you all. So on behalf of your humble hosts here at the Rebuild Procurement Podcast, we are Tommy Finn, the guy who puts the fin in finance. We got Paul Odell Scott, the dark wizard of finance. And I'm Alan Veek, your OG in procurement, hoping that you will make this a powerful and productive week in procurement. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
Show me, and you won't hear the word rebuild.